there were 10 total boxes, so there were 6 that contributed to the group, 4 that contributed to individually, so we just did 10 points each. And then if you scored exemplary, 10 points. If you were in between exemplary and proficient, 9. Proficient, 8.5. In between proficient and emerging, 8, 7, 6, and 5. Okay, and then we just added them. Does that make sense? For your research, I was looking for, did you answer all of the questions that were there? And did you answer them with more than a yes or no, but with actual research, right? Like actual facts that you found? Did you include, quotes, anecdotes, specific examples, that kind of thing? And so that kind of went into quantity and then also the quality of your content. Pretty much all of us scored with the sources. Some of us were kind of just proficient just based on the sources that you found. It looked like you couldn't have possibly gotten all of your information from those 3 sources. So there's that. For visual aid, it was based on the content, which I tried to differentiate your visual aid and your presentation, but obviously if your presentation was missing content, it was probably also missing out of your visual aid, right, like your oral presentation. So I kind of included that here too. Images and multimedia, and then professionalism. This was just really more the design than anything. Did you have errors? Was it easy to read and see it? Did it look professional? I know that can be kind of subjective, and I can be a little bit of like a PowerPoint snob, so I tried to not put my personal opinion of what looks good and what doesn't look good in this, right? But really more like, could we read it? All right, works cited page. So here's your individual portion, right? I know that for many of you, this was the first time that we did a works cited. Overall, they were okay. Some of you don't, I showed you the video in class, took you step by step, and yet there were some of you that still you missed steps. And there's an example, right? All sorts of resources. So I went in and I edited everyone's, okay? So you have a version of that now in Google Classroom that has all the markings on it that it needs. I posted a key in there too of what my shorthand means so that you can fix it. If you would like to fix your works cited page, you can, and I will add points back. When you get this rubric, this individual rubric, right, I'll have it printed out here, I'll give you one. If you are going to change your works cited, you'll go in and fix it, resubmit it on Google Classroom, and then take this piece of paper and turn it in over in the late and absent work thing, okay? So that I know that you want me to go back and check it, all right? And then obviously your presentation. The instructions for your works cited are all still right here, okay? Right, so there's an example, rewatch the video, I have different resources. Here's my key for your comments. And then I added this yesterday. I'll check this again, this spot again, Wednesday, March 6th after 5. That's when all work is due, right? No submissions will be accepted after that time. When you turn it on Google Classroom, please also turn that rubric back over there so I know to check it, okay? Me going back and adding these points is going to be a little bit low on my grading totem pole, okay? And probably will happen over spring break, but I'll update them and get them in so you can get a few points back. For some of you, that is several points. For that too, for your works cited, I pretty much did perfect, 1 to 2 errors, 2 to 3 errors, depending on kind of how extreme they were, and then more than 3 errors was kind of over there. Okay, does that make sense? So as you're working again on this next thing, I'll put this back up on the board so that you have the points breakdown. I'll call y'all over. Here's what you're gonna do now. I found this kind of cool website, I think. Well, it's not a website, it's just part of the New York Times. And you know I love the New York Times. So when you open this up, you can click on that part, the kind of heading there, and it's called the Room for Debate. So what they do is they take hot button issues or popular topics, and then they find 2 people who are credible sources on the issue and have them each write an opposing viewpoint. Super kind of short, I think they're probably under 250 words, little kind of opinion piece. They do a really good job of including voice and interesting points and things like that. So we've got all sorts of different ones. Here's this one, when do consumer boycotts work? Media in the age of Trump. There's obviously a lot of political stuff, but there's some other stuff. Was BuzzFeed right to publish accusations against Trump? Women in their march on Washington. Does empathy guide or hinder moral action? So some of it is totally different than that. Should foreign language classes be mandatory in college? These are ones I clicked on because I thought they were kind of interesting. So there's all sorts of different ones. And again, look, you've got 63 pages worth of them, okay? So don't waste your time finding one, but you've got a lot to choose from. when you click on one, so if we look at this one, it has a few things here. First, it has an intro to the issue. So here it says Uber, Starbucks, Budweiser, these are just a few of the brands that have faced consumer boycotts for taking supposedly political stances in the past few weeks. Still, it is unclear whether most of these boycotts will negatively affect sales or change company policy. When does voting with your wallet work? So that's what they're debating, right? If you click on some of these links, it'll have a link to another news article, sometimes from there, sometimes not from there, explaining kind of the situation more so you can kind of get the context you need. Then here at the top, it'll have your debaters. So these are the two people who are writing. Judith Samuelson is a founder of the executive director of the Aspen Institute's Business and Society program. Okay, if I'm like, I don't know what the Aspen Institute is, I could Google it, or I could probably click on this link and let's see. Okay, this looks very official, right? Aligning business with the long-term health of society. It's a program founded in 1998, works with business executives and scholars to align business decisions and investment opportunities. So I can kind of look through this and see, but like she clearly knows what she's talking about, right? And then this guy, Americus Reed, is the Whitney M. Young Jr. Professor of Marketing at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business. That's like the top business school in the nation, one of the top business schools in the nation. We can check out his Twitter, we can click on his little bio thing. So again, he clearly knows what he's talking about, right? So you're gonna kind of look at the topic thing, look at that, and then here are their opinions, right? So here's his. He says social media boycotts succeed when they reflect a movement. And again, pretty brief kind of thing here. Their voice, it's pretty informal writing, so it's kind of entertaining. And then here's her: boycotts force corporations to confront consumer ideals. So we have two different opinions here, right? One of them is like they only work if they're a part of a movement. Hers is they do work, right? And they make the businesses kind of change their mind. So pick a topic that you're interested in. Again, there's some pretty cool ones out there. And then I have instructions here. I put the number for each box so that you know which instruction to go back to, because I felt like I didn't know how to format this as I wanted. So you'll put the article topic here, so I would do like consumer boycotts, put the link there. Number 2, you're going to give me a summary of your topic, 3 to 5 sentences, so you can pull from this side thing right here. You can click on some of these other articles. Just put it in your own words, right? You'll read each opinion, and then give me a summary of each opinion here, right? So what does opinion number 1 say? What does opinion number 2 say? Then for ethos, you're going to go back and look at that kind of box that introduced them, and just give me a couple sentences. Why are they credible? Okay? Most of the people, as I was skimming through some of these, most of them didn't really appeal to ethos because they already, like, they were chosen for this because they're credible. So they don't really need to prove their credibility. Some of them might in your articles, but I felt like most of them didn't have that. So I thought for that one, we just explain why they're credible. And then we'll really only look at pathos and logos. So for pathos and logos, you're going to give me an example quote, just paste it in there, okay? And then a little explanation of how is that logos, and then you choose which one was more effective. There might be, maybe one of them was more effective emotionally, the other was more effective logically. That's totally up to you, okay? And it's really just your opinion. You just need to support it with your ideas, okay? So again, instructions there are all at the top, so you can kind of read through those as you get to the number. Any other questions?